The evening chime has rung and faded into the mist. Only the soft creak of a chair, the clink of a goblet, and the sigh of ancient timber break the quiet. Tonight we find rest in the world of the Dwarven Brewmaster in the mushroom cavern. Let the road fall behind you. Sink into your pillow as the hearth settles to embers. Let your breath turn slow and quiet in the candle glow. Let every worry drift beyond the inn door. This is the drowsy dragon. Let us begin. Deep beneath the roots of the Iron Peak Mountains, where the granite bones of the earth hold the weight of 1,000 winters, a path winds downward into the quiet. The transition from the upper halls of the dwarven citadels to the lower reaches is marked by a change in the atmosphere, shifting from the sharp, metallic tang of the forges to something softer, more earthen and sweet. Here the torches of the guard posts give way to the natural luminescence of the deep, a glow that does not flicker, but pulses with the slow breath of the stone itself. You walk with measured steps, your boots finding purchase on stairs carved by hands long forgotten, their edges smoothed by centuries of passing feet. There is no haste in this descent, for the deep places do not recognize the urgency of the sun-lit lands above. Every breath you take is cool, carrying the faint, pleasant scent of damp moss and the distant, toasted aroma of a boiling mash. It is a fragrance that speaks of comfort and labor, a domestic warmth tucked away in the belly of the world. As you round a final sweeping curve of the tunnel, the passage opens into a cavern so immense that the ceiling is lost to a mist of glittering minerals. This is the Mycelium Vault, a sanctuary of shadow and light where the great cap mushrooms grow. They stand like silent, spectral sentinels, some as tall as a village watchtower, their broad gills radiating a soft sapphire light that bathes the cavern floor in hues of twilight. It is a forest of fungi, thriving in the eternal evening of the deep. The stillness of the cavern is not a void, but a rich tapestry of subtle noises. You can hear the rhythmic drip of mineral-rich water falling from a high stalactite into a pool of silver liquid below. Each drop creates a crystalline chime that echoes gently through the stalks of the mushrooms. Farther off, the low note of a subterranean breeze whistles through a narrow fissure, sounding like a flute played by the earth itself. It is a place of peace, where the noise of the surface cannot reach. Following a path of crushed quartz, you move toward the heart of the vault, where a cluster of smaller golden mushrooms marks the entrance to the brewery. These are the honeyglows, prized for their sweetness and their steady, warm radiance. They line the way like lanterns, casting long, soft shadows across the mossy floor. The path here is soft, padded with fallen spores that look like a dusting of pale snow under the blue light of the canopy. Ahead, the forge fires of the brewmaster's workshop come into view, though they are not the roaring furnaces of the weaponsmiths. These fires are kept low and steady, burning with a deep amber flame beneath large copper kettles. The steam rising from the vats is thick and fragrant, smelling of roasted barley, wild honey, and the sharp, clean zest of cave lilies. It is a scent that warms the chest, promising a rest that is both deep and restorative. Master Thrain, the keeper of these vats, moves with a deliberate cadence that mirrors the pulse of the cavern. He is a figure of sturdy grace, his beard braided with silver wire that catches the light of the honeyglows. He does not look up as you approach, his focus entirely on the copper ladle he holds. He is listening to the brew, gauging its progress by the way the bubbles pop and the steam curls into the rafters. In this place, brewing is not a chore, but a slow, unfolding art. The workshop itself is an extension of the cavern, with walls of living stone that have been carved into shelves and alcoves. On these shelves sit hundreds of glass jars, each containing a different stage of the fermentation process. Some liquids are as clear as mountain spring water, while others are as dark as the deep sea, swirling with flecks of bioluminescent yeast. They glow with a soft internal fire, lighting the corners of the room in shades of violet and emerald. You find a seat on a stool, carved from a single block of cedar, placed near the edge of the warmth. From here you can watch the steam rise and vanish into the shadows above. The heat from the kettles is a gentle embrace, easing the tension from your shoulders and neck. It is easy to lose track of time here, where the sun never rises or sets, and the only clock is the slow, steady drip of the water and the bubbling of the mash. Thrain moves to a rack of wooden barrels, his hand trailing over the weathered oak with a gesture of quiet respect. Each barrel is bound in iron and marked with a rune of preservation, holding a vintage that may not see the light of a mug for another 50 years. He checks the seals, his movements efficient and calm, a man who has found his purpose in the patient service of time. The wood of the barrels is dark and rich, saturated with the essence of many seasons of growth. Near your seat, a small table holds a collection of dried herbs and roots, laid out on a linen cloth to be sorted. There are sprigs of starleaf, which grow only in the highest peaks, and bundles of bitter root, pulled from the deepest crevices. The brewmaster blends these with the cavern's mushrooms to create ales that can heal a weary spirit or bring a dreamless sleep to a restless mind. The variety of textures and colors is a testament to the hidden bounty of the mountain. A small silver-furred cave cat stretches on a nearby rug, its eyes half closed as it basks in the warmth of the fires. It purrs with a low, vibrating hum that blends into the background noise of the brewery. The presence of the creature adds a layer of domesticity to the grand cavern, a reminder that even in the heart of the stone there is a place for the small and the soft. You watch the rise and fall of its sides, feeling your own breath begin to match its slow, easy measure. Thrain finally turns, offering a small, knowing nod. He reaches for a ceramic mug, dipping it into a cooling vat and handing it to you. The liquid is a pale, shimmering gold, and as you hold it, the warmth seeps into your palms. It is not yet fully aged, but it carries the vibrant life of the mushrooms and the strength of the earth. You take a small sip, and the flavor is a revelation, sweet, earthy, and infinitely deep. As the warmth of the drink spreads through you, the details of the cavern seem to soften. The blue light of the great caps feels more like a blanket than a glow, and the murmurs of the brewery turn into a lullaby. The weight of the world above feels very far away now, separated by miles of solid rock and the quiet dedication of the brewmaster. You are safe here, in the cradle of the mountain, where the stone itself seems to watch over your rest. The brewmaster returns to his work, his silhouette moving against the amber light of the fires. He begins to stir a new vat, the wooden paddle moving in a slow circular motion that creates a gentle swirling noise. It is a sound of creation, of something good being nurtured in the dark. You lean back against the cool stone wall, the contrast between the chilled rock and the warm mug creating a perfect balance of sensation. High above, a cluster of glowing crystals shifts, catching a stray beam of light and scattering it across the ceiling like a constellation of misplaced stars. You track the movement of a single spark as it drifts through the steam, a tiny point of brilliance in the vast shadowed space. The cavern is alive, yet it is stiller than any forest at midnight. It is a paradox of growth and silence, a garden that flourishes without the sun. The scent of the brewery shifts slightly, as Thrain adds a handful of crushed juniper berries to a simmering pot. The sharp, piney aroma cuts through the sweetness of the malt, refreshing the senses and clearing the mind. It is a clean smell, like the first breath of a winter morning, yet it remains anchored by the underlying warmth of the forge. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the scent transport you to the high ridges before bringing you back to the safety of the cave. Every element of this place is designed for endurance. The stone benches, the iron-bound barrels, the very way the brewmaster carries himself, all of it suggests a timeline that stretches far beyond a single human life. There is great comfort in this permanence. In a world of change and noise, the Mushroom Cavern remains constant, a steady pulse in the heart of the Iron Peaks. It is a place where you can let go of the fleeting worries of the day. You notice a small stream of water trickling down the far wall, feeding a patch of velvet green moss. The water is so clear it is almost invisible, revealed only by the way it makes the minerals in the rock sparkle. It is a reminder that even the hardest stone is shaped by the persistent, gentle touch of the water. Life here does not fight the environment. It flows with it, finding beauty in the shadows and strength in the slow passage of years. As the first hour of your visit draws to a close, the brewmaster sets down his ladle and wipes his hands on his apron. He looks toward the dark opening of a side tunnel where the fermentation chambers lie in wait. The work is never truly finished, but for now the pace eases and the brewery enters a period of quiet reflection. The fire's low, the steam thinning, and the sapphire light of the mushrooms remains as steady as a heartbeat, guiding you further into the peace of the deep. Thrain takes up a small copper lantern, its wick burning with a steady amber flame. He beckons you to follow, his boots making a soft, measured thud against the packed earth. We leave the main hall behind, entering a passage where the ceiling dips low, and the walls are lined with smooth obsidian tiles. The atmosphere here is cooler, a refreshing contrast to the humid warmth of the boiling vats. You can smell the sharp, clean scent of wet stone, mingled with something deeper, something sweet and fermented. This is the path to the fermentation chambers, the quiet heart where the brew finds its soul. As you walk, the lantern light dances across the walls, revealing small carved alcoves. In each one, a single glowing crystal rests, casting a pale lilac hue upon the floor. The brewmaster moves with a practiced grace, his shadows stretching and shrinking against the stone. He does not speak, allowing the peace of the tunnel to wrap around you like a soft cloak. The only noise is the distant, muffled hiss of steam from the main cavern, fading until it is nothing more than a memory. You feel the tension in your shoulders ease, the steady pace of your footsteps grounding you in the present moment. We emerge into a circular chamber, its walls lined from floor to ceiling with massive iron-bound barrels. These are not made of common oak, but of iron wood, a timber as dense as the mountain itself. The wood is a deep, bruised purple, polished to a mirror, shine by centuries of care. You reach out to touch one, the grain feeling cool and smooth beneath your fingertips. There is a faint vibration within the wood, a sign of the life moving inside the barrel. It is a slow, patient process, a transformation that cannot be rushed by any magic or machine. In the center of this room, a natural pillar of translucent quartz rises, glowing with a soft inner light. It acts as a focal point for the cave's energy, keeping the temperature constant and the spirits calm. Thrain approaches the pillar, placing a hand upon its face as if greeting an old friend. The quartz pulses once, a soft wave of gold ripples through the stone, illuminating the dust motes that drift in the still atmosphere. You find a low stone bench nearby, its surface draped in a thick woolen rug. It is an invitation to rest, to observe, and to listen to the silence of the deep. Above you, the ceiling is a tapestry of bioluminescent moss, glowing in shades of seafoam green and soft teal. It mimics the appearance of a forest canopy, providing a sense of openness despite the miles of rock overhead. Small pale mushrooms grow in the crevices, their caps translucent and fragile. They release a faint, sweet aroma, like clover honey and dried grass. It is a scent that speaks of the sunlit lands above, brought down into the depths to nourish the spirit. You breathe it in, feeling the sweetness fill your chest, calming the mind and slowing the pulse. Thrain moves to a small wooden cabinet, his fingers tracing the intricate carvings of hops and barley. He produces a small silver key, unlocking a drawer with a soft metallic click. Inside lie rows of small glass vials, each containing a different essence used to finish the brews. He selects one, a liquid the color of a summer sunset, and holds it up to the lantern light. The liquid swirls with a life of its own, tiny flecks of gold leaf suspended in the mixture. This is the essence of sun motes, gathered from the high meadows during the longest day of the year. He walks to one of the larger barrels, the one marked with the crest of a sleeping bear. With a gentle touch, he opens a small tap at the base, allowing a thin stream of amber liquid to flow into a crystal glass. The resonance of the liquid hitting the glass is like a clear, musical note, echoing softly through the chamber. The scent that rises is complex and rich, notes of toasted grain, wild heather, and the cold, crisp edge of a mountain spring. It is a fragrance that tells a story of the earth and the sky, bound together by the brewmaster's hand. He offers the glass to you, the crystal feeling light and delicate in your hand. You do not drink, but simply hold it, letting the warmth of the brew seep into your palms. The amber light of the lantern reflects through the liquid, casting dancing patterns of gold across your lap. It is a moment of pure, unhurried observation. The world outside, with its noise and its haste, feels like a dream from which you have finally woken. Here, in the heart of the Iron Peaks, the only thing that matters is the slow, steady turning of the seasons. In the corner of the room, a small, natural spring bubbles up from a crack in the floor. The water is channeled through a series of shallow stone basins, creating a series of tiny, musical falls. The noise of the water is a constant, gentle murmur, a backdrop to the stillness of the vault. It is a sound that has not changed for 1,000 years, a reminder of the enduring nature of the mountain. You watch the water as it flows, the ripples catching the lilac light of the crystals and turning them into shimmering threads of silver. Thrain returns to his cabinet, carefully replacing the vial and locking the drawer. He seems satisfied with the progress of the brew, his expression one of quiet contentment. He moves to a secondary hearth in the corner, where a small fire of peat and aromatic wood burns low. He adds a single log, the wood catching with a soft crackle and releasing a puff of blue smoke. The smoke smells of earth and old stories, a comforting, grounding scent that fills the alcove. He sits on a stool by the fire, his hands resting on his knees, his gaze fixed on the glowing embers. This secondary hearth is where the brewmaster comes to reflect, to plan the next batch, and to listen to the whispers of the stone. The warmth from the fire is gentle, a soft radiance that takes the edge off the subterranean chill. You lean back against the woolen rug, the texture soft and familiar against your skin. The shadows on the wall are long and soft, moving in a slow, graceful dance as the fire flickers. It is a theater of light and shade, a play performed for an audience of two. Beside the hearth, a stack of leather-bound journals rests on a low table. These are the brewmaster's logs, containing the recipes and observations of generations of his kin. The leather is worn and dark, the edges of the pages yellowed with age. You imagine the hands that have turned these pages, the ink-stained fingers of dwarves who saw the world change while they remained here, perfecting their craft. There is a profound sense of continuity in these books, a thread of knowledge that connects the past to the present in an unbroken line. Thrain notices your gaze and smiles, a slow, warm expression that reaches his eyes. He picks up the top journal, the one he is currently writing in, and turns a few pages. He points to a sketch of a rare, glowing orchid that grows only in the deepest, most inaccessible parts of the cavern. Its petals are used to add a hint of floral spice to the winter ales. The sketch is detailed and precise, a testament to the brewmaster's respect for the ingredients he uses. He treats each plant, each grain, and each drop of water as a precious gift from the mountain. You feel a sense of privilege, being allowed into this private sanctuary. This is not a place for tourists or casual visitors. It is a place of work, of study, and of deep, meditative peace. The brewmaster's presence is a comforting one, a steady anchor in the sea of shadows. He does not demand anything from you, only that you share in the stillness. You watch as he takes up a small whetstone, beginning to sharpen a small silver knife with slow, methodical strokes. The rasp of the stone is a clean, sharp noise, a worker's prayer in the dimness. The task is performed with such focus that it becomes a form of meditation. Each stroke is identical to the last, a display of perfect control and patience. You find yourself following the movement of his hands, the steady back-and-forth motion lulling you into a deeper state of relaxation. The lantern light glints off the blade, a tiny flash of silver in the amber glow. It is a small, simple action, yet it contains the essence of the dwarven spirit, the dedication to quality, the respect for the tool, and the love of the craft. As the minutes pass, the fire burns lower, the embers glowing like a bed of fallen stars. The smoke has thinned to a faint blue haze, and the scent of peat is now a subtle, lingering presence. The room feels smaller, more intimate, as if the darkness is pressing gently against the edges of the light. The ironwood barrels stand like silent sentinels, guarding the treasures within. You can feel the weight of the mountain above you not as a burden, but as a protective shield, keeping the chaos of the upper world at bay. Thrain finishes sharpening the knife, testing the edge with a thumb before sheathing it at his belt. He stands and moves toward the back of the chamber, where a heavy velvet curtain hangs across a narrow opening. He pulls the curtain aside, revealing a small private library carved directly into the rock. The walls are lined with scrolls and books, their spines embossed with silver and gold runes. This is his retreat within a retreat, a place where the history of the brewery is kept and studied. The atmosphere inside is even stiller, the air smelling of parchment and old ink. He enters the library and lights a single candle on a stone desk. The flame is small and steady, casting a focused circle of light upon an open scroll. You stay by the fire, watching him from a distance. He looks like a scholar of the deep, a guardian of secrets that have been forgotten by the sunlit world. The sight of him hunched over the scroll, his brow furrowed in concentration, is an image of timeless dedication. It is a reminder that even in the quietest moments there is work to be done, a purpose to be fulfilled. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the various sounds of the cavern wash over you. The bubbling spring, the crackle of the fire, the soft rustle of parchment, and the distant rhythmic thud of a water wheel somewhere far below. They blend together into a single harmonious note, a symphony of the deep that speaks of peace and endurance. You feel as though you are part of this place, a single thread in the great tapestry of the mountain. Your breathing slows, matching the steady pulse of the quartz pillar in the center of the room. When you open your eyes, Thrain is standing by the curtain again, the candle extinguished. He looks toward the exit, his posture suggesting that it is time to move on to the next part of your journey. The amber liquid in your glass has cooled, but the warmth it provided still lingers in your chest. You stand, your movements slow and deliberate, and follow him back toward the tunnel. Ahead, a doorway framed in silver-veined granite stands open, leading toward the deeper, more silent galleries where the oldest secrets of the mountain are kept. The silver-veined granite doorway yields to a passage where the temperature drops, replaced by a refreshing damp chill. This is the threshold of the Mycelium Reach, a hidden garden that breathes with a light all its own. Your boots transition from the dry stone of the library to a floor carpeted in thick, springy moss. The change is immediate, as if the mountain has traded its iron bones for a softer, more organic heart. Ahead, the corridor expands into a sprawling chamber that defies the expectations of the subterranean. It is a forest of fungi, where stalks of ivory and violet rise like the trunks of slender trees. The canopy above is not of leaves, but of broad, luminescent caps that cast a gentle indigo radiance over the surroundings. You pause at the edge of this grove, taking a slow, deep breath of the atmosphere, which is saturated with the scent of wet earth and a sweet, metallic tang. Thrain moves forward with a practiced ease, his silhouette outlined against the soft glow of the mushrooms. He does not carry a lantern here, for the cavern provides its own illumination. Every step he takes causes the moss to pulse with a faint, emerald light, a responsive glow that follows his path. You follow him, feeling the gentle resistance of the carpeted floor beneath your feet, each movement cushioned and silent. To your left, a cluster of azure trumpets stands tall, their fluted edges vibrating almost imperceptibly. They emit a low, resonant hum that vibrates in your chest. A note so deep it feels like the mountain itself is purring. Thrain reaches out to brush a hand against one, and the hum shifts, becoming a melodic chime that echoes through the stillness. It is a song of growth and patience, a reminder of the slow, deliberate pace of life in the deep. As you walk deeper into the grove, you notice the variety of life that thrives in this sheltered pocket. There are tiny, star-shaped fungi that cling to the walls, twinkling like a constellation of fallen stars. There are broad, flat shelves of orange bracket fungus that protrude from the stone, acting as natural stairs for those who know how to climb them. The diversity is staggering, a testament to the brewmaster's skill in cultivating these essential ingredients. Thrain stops beside a slow-moving stream that winds its way through the center of the cavern. The water is not clear, but carries a milky, iridescent sheen, reflecting the multicolored lights from above. He kneels by the bank and dips a small wooden bowl into the flow, lifting it to the light. The liquid swirls with ribbons of silver and gold, a concentrated essence of the mountain's minerals and the fungi's magic. He offers the bowl to you, and as you take a sip, the taste is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is cool and crisp, with a hint of peppermint and the earthy richness of a forest floor after a rainstorm. The liquid seems to hum as it goes down, spreading a gentle warmth through your limbs. It is not just water, but a tonic, a preparation for the deeper work that lies ahead in the brewing process. Across the stream, a grove of glowgills stands in a tight circle, their undersides radiating a brilliant, pulsating white. These are the primary source of light in this section of the cavern, and their brilliance is softened by a thin veil of mist that hangs in the air. The mist is not cold, but carries the warmth of the geothermal vents that feed this ecosystem. It clings to your skin like a soft, damp cloth, soothing and hydrating. Thrain points toward a particularly large mushroom, its cap wider than a wagon wheel and colored a deep, velvety maroon. This is the heart cap, the centerpiece of the grove and the source of the most potent spores used in his secret recipes. He approaches it with a sense of reverence, his movements even slower and more deliberate than before. He reaches into a pouch at his belt and pulls out a small silver brush, beginning to gently sweep the underside of the cap. As he brushes, a cloud of fine golden dust is released, drifting through the stillness like a slow-motion snowfall. The spores catch the light, turning the space around the heart cap into a shimmering, golden haze. You stand perfectly still, watching the particles dance in the air, their movement dictated by the faint thermal currents of the cavern. It is a hypnotic sight, a visual representation of the life force that permeates this place. Thrain collects the golden dust in a small crystal vial, sealing it with a wax-coated cork. This single vial represents months of careful cultivation and observation, a precious cargo that will eventually find its way into a barrel of the brewmaster's finest ale. He tucks the vial away and looks back at you, a faint smile visible through his thick, braided beard. The work here is a labor of love, a dialogue between the dwarf and the mountain. You continue your journey through the mycelium reach, passing under an archway formed by two intertwining stalks of bioluminescent fungus. The path begins to slope downward, leading you toward a lower terrace, where the air feels even denser and more humid. Here, the mushrooms are smaller but more numerous, a carpet of tiny glowing buttons that cover every inch of the stone. It is like walking across a field of glowing embers, though there is no heat, only light. In the center of this lower terrace sits a stone basin, fed by a series of narrow aqueducts carved into the cavern walls. The water here is still and dark, acting as a perfect mirror for the glowing canopy above. You stand at the edge of the basin, looking down at the reflection, and for a moment the distinction between the ceiling and the floor vanishes. You feel as though you are floating in a void of light and shadow, a part of the infinite depth of the mountain. Thrain takes a seat on a moss-covered bench near the basin, gesturing for you to join him. This is a place of reflection, a spot where he comes to listen to the mountain and contemplate the next stage of his craft. The silence here is profound, broken only by the occasional rhythmic drip of water from a stalactite into the basin. Each drop creates a series of expanding ripples, distorting the reflected lights into beautiful abstract patterns. You sit beside him, letting the stillness of the cavern wash over you. The weight of your journey, the fatigue of the day, all of it seems to melt away in the presence of this quiet, subterranean beauty. You feel a deep sense of connection to the place, an understanding that you are a guest in a storied and sacred realm. The Brewmaster's presence is a comforting anchor, a reminder of the enduring nature of the mountain and its people. As you sit, you notice a soft, rhythmic pulsing in the stone beneath you. It is not a vibration, but a sensation of life, the heartbeat of the mountain itself. It is slow and steady, a tempo that matches your own breathing. You close your eyes, letting the pulse guide you into a state of deep relaxation. The world above, with its sun and its wind and its constant motion, feels like a distant, half-remembered dream. Thrain begins to hum a low, wordless melody, his voice blending perfectly with the resonant notes of the azure trumpets. It is a song of the deep, a chant that has been passed down through generations of dwarven brewers. The melody is simple and repetitive, a lullaby for the stone and the fungi. It carries a sense of peace and contentment, a feeling that everything is exactly as it should be. The mist in the cavern begins to thicken, swirling around your feet and obscuring the glowing floor. It feels like a soft, cool blanket, wrapping you in its embrace. The indigo light from the canopy above dims slightly, as if the mushrooms are also settling in for a period of rest. The atmosphere becomes even more intimate, the boundaries of the cavern shrinking until there is only you, Thrain, and the steady pulse of the mountain. You feel a sense of profound gratitude for this moment, for the opportunity to witness the hidden wonders of the Brewmaster's realm. It is a reminder that beauty and peace can be found in the most unexpected places if one only has the patience to look. The mycelium reach is not just a garden, but a sanctuary, a place where the stresses of the world cannot reach. Thrain eventually stands, his movements fluid and unhurried. He looks toward a narrow opening in the far wall, where a faint golden light suggests the presence of another chamber. This is the way toward the fermentation vaults, where the ingredients gathered here will begin their long transformation into the legendary ales of the deep. You stand and follow him, your heart light and your mind at peace, ready for the next stage of your quiet journey through the mountain's embrace. The passage narrows, pressing the cool breath of the mountain against your skin, while the mica-flecked walls catch the growing amber radiance from the chamber ahead. Thrain moves with a grace that belies his sturdy frame, his boots finding the softest patches of earth as he leads you deeper into the heart of his craft. Each step feels deliberate, a slow progression through the stone that seems to vibrate with the low, subterranean energy of the mountain. You emerge into the vault of amber, a space where the ceiling rises into a series of graceful pointed arches carved directly from the living granite. Here the dimness of the mushroom groves is replaced by a rich golden luminescence that spills from enchanted lanterns hanging on silver chains. The atmosphere is warm and inviting, a stark contrast to the damp chill of the outer caverns, smelling of toasted grain and promise. Immense copper tons, polished until they reflect the flickering light like suns held captive in the earth, stand in orderly rows across the floor. Each vessel is a masterpiece of smithing, decorated with flowing runes that tell the story of the grain, the water, and the fire used in the brewing. The metal feels alive, radiating a gentle heat that speaks of the active transformation occurring within its rounded walls. A low, melodic bubbling rises from the vessels, a soft murmur of change that fills the chamber with a sense of quiet industry. It is the pulse of the yeast working its magic in the half-light, turning the gifts of the earth into the liquid gold for which the dwarves are famed. This resonance is steady and comforting, a white noise that encourages your mind to release its final tethers to the surface. The atmosphere is thick with the scent of roasted barley, caramelized honey, and the sharp, clean tang of mountain herbs. It is a fragrance that warms you from the inside, a sensory promise of comfort and strength that has sustained this folk for countless generations. You breathe it in deeply, letting the rich, malty notes coat your senses and slow your racing thoughts. Thrain approaches the nearest tun, placing a weathered hand against the warm metal, his eyes closing as he listens to the progress of the fermentation. He does not need gauges or charts, for he knows the temperament of each batch by the vibration of the copper and the scent of the steam. His presence is a study in patience, a reminder that the finest things in this life cannot be rushed. He turns a small brass valve with a gentle touch, allowing a tiny stream of amber liquid to flow into a crystal vial for inspection. The light catches the clarity of the brew, revealing a depth of color that rivals the richest sunset seen on the peak of the mountain. He nods in quiet satisfaction, the liquid swirling slowly in the glass before he returns it to the vessel. The floor beneath your feet is composed of smooth, grey slate, worn into gentle hollows by the passage of brewmasters who have walked these paths for 500 years. It feels solid and dependable, a foundation that has supported the weight of tradition since the first stone was shaped in this hall. You find yourself walking in those same hollows, feeling a connection to the long line of artisans who came before. Along the walls, narrow channels of cold mountain water flow through carved runnels, providing the necessary chill to control the heat of the ferment. The murmur of the water provides a delicate counterpoint to the deep, resonant hum of the copper tanks. It is a delicate balance of elements, a dance of fire and ice that takes place in the silence of the deep. In the corners of the chamber, small clusters of pale, glowing moss provide a secondary light, their soft white fronds moving in the gentle drafts that circulate through the ventilation shafts. They act as natural barometers, their brightness indicating the purity of the environment. Their glow is soft and ethereal, like fallen stars resting on the damp stone. You find a seat on a low stone bench carved with motifs of wheat and hops, and watch as Thrain moves from vessel to vessel with practiced ease. There is no haste in his work, only a deliberate, mindful attention to the needs of the brew. Each movement is a part of a larger measure, a slow dance of stewardship that has no end. He speaks in a low whisper, his words directed more to the ale than to you, offering encouragement to the living cultures within the tanks. It is a reminder that in this place, brewing is not just a trade, but a sacred dialogue between the maker and the mountain. His voice is a low rumble, blending into the ambient noise of the vault until it is indistinguishable from the stone itself. The golden radiance seems to pulse in time with your own breathing, creating a cocoon of warmth that shields you from the immense pressure of the rock above. You feel a sense of profound security, knowing that you are deep within a fortress of craft and care. The outside world, with its frantic pace and endless demands, has no power here. As the minutes pass, the soft gurgle of the fermentation becomes a lullaby, a repetitive and soothing tempo that invites your mind to drift. The complexities of your journey fade away, replaced by the simple, honest reality of the vault. You are a witness to a slow and beautiful process, a transformation that requires nothing from you but your presence. Thrain gestures toward a smaller side chamber where rows of oaken barrels are stacked high, waiting to receive the finished ale for its long period of aging. This is where the brew will find its final character, resting in the stillness of the deep for years or even decades. The transition to this space is marked by a shift in the air, a cooling that signals the end of the active phase. The movement from the warmth of the tuns to the cool stillness of the barrel room is a gentle shift, a transition from the energy of creation to the peace of maturation. You follow him, your footsteps silent on the stone as the golden light of the vault shifts to a soft silver glow. The silence here is deeper, more profound, a weighted quiet that speaks of time and patience. Each barrel is branded with the seal of the clan, a mark of quality and pride that ensures the legacy of the mountain is carried in every drop. The wood of the casks is old, seasoned by the damp atmosphere and the passage of years, holding secrets that only the brewmaster truly understands. You can smell the oak, a dry and earthy scent that grounds the sweetness of the malt. You pause to run your hand over the rough grain of the oak, feeling the life that still resides within the timber, even as it serves its new purpose. It is a connection to the forests of the surface, brought down into the deep to cradle the fruits of the subterranean gardens. The wood is cool to the touch, but it holds a latent warmth, a memory of the sun it once knew. The silence here is even more profound than in the mushroom groves, a weighted stillness that feels like a physical presence wrapping around you like a thick cloak. It is the silence of waiting, of growth, that happens in the absence of light and noise. It is a space where the mind can finally rest, free from the clutter of thought. Thrain leads you to a small alcove at the far end of the barrel room, where a single lantern burns with a steady blue flame, casting long shadows across the floor. He prepares to open a small hatch that leads to the deeper storage cellars, where the oldest and rarest vintages are kept. This new path promises even greater stillness, a journey into the very foundations of the mountain's memory. The iron wheel turns with a low, resonant groan, echoing through the stone like the sigh of a sleeping giant. You step through, following Thrain into a passage carved from obsidian, its walls polished to a mirror-like sheen. The blue lantern light dances across the dark stone, creating ripples of azure that seem to flow like water. Your descent is measured, each step onto the smooth rock feeling firm and secure. The spiral stairs wind deeper into the belly of the peak, moving away from the warmth of the upper brewery. Here the temperature drops, a crisp and refreshing coolness that clears your mind and sharpens your senses. Along the walls, patches of star moss begin to stir into a soft white radiance that mimics a clear sky. This tiny living light source thrives in the deep, feeding on the mineral-rich moisture that seeps through the granite. It is a quiet, natural magic, one that requires no spells, only time and the stillness of the mountain. The scent of the atmosphere shifts, losing the sweet, yeasty tang of the fermentation vats. It is replaced by the smell of cold stone and wet earth, a clean and grounding fragrance that speaks of the planet's core. You breathe it in, feeling the chill reach the bottom of your lungs, a refreshing contrast to the humid warmth you left behind. Thrain moves with a grace that belies his sturdy frame, his boots making only the faintest tap against the obsidian. He does not speak, understanding that the silence of this place is a treasure to be guarded. The only noise is the distant, steady drip of water, a liquid chime that marks the passage of centuries. You reach the bottom of the stairs and find yourself in a wide gallery where the ceiling is lost in the velvet shadow. Massive pillars of natural rock support the weight of the mountain above, their surfaces carved with scenes of the first miners. These figures seem to watch over the gallery, their stone eyes calm and patient in the flickering blue light. To your left, a narrow stream of pale, luminous water flows through a channel cut into the floor. It carries with it a faint, musical murmur, the cadence of a hidden river that has never seen the sun. The water is so clear it is almost invisible, betrayed only by the way it bends the light of the star moss. Thrain leads you toward a row of barrels that look very different from the ones in the upper vaults. These are made of white heart oak, a rare wood that grows only in the most secluded valleys of the surface. The wood is pale, almost silvery, and bound with hoops of hammered mithril that gleam with a soft inner fire. He pauses before one of these casks, placing a hand on its frosted exterior, with a gesture of profound respect. This is the winter ale, a brew that must remain in the deep cold for 50 years before it is ready. It is a labor of generations, a gift from the past to a future that the brewer may never see. You can feel the chill radiating from the wood, a biting cold that hints at the power contained within. The mithril bands are etched with runes of preservation, glowing with a faint, steady pulse that keeps the liquid inside at a perfect, unchanging temperature. It is a marriage of craft and enchantment, designed to withstand the test of time. Further into the gallery, you see clusters of violet mushrooms growing in the crevices of the rock. They are small and delicate, their caps shimmering with a fine, crystalline dust that sparkles like diamonds. These fungi are the source of the subtle bitterness in the rarest dwarven stouts, a flavor that cannot be replicated by any other means. The stillness here is not empty. It is full of the weight of the mountain, a comforting pressure that makes you feel small but safe. You are tucked away in a secret pocket of the landscape, far beneath the storms and the noise of the outer world. Here, the only thing that matters is the slow, steady maturation of the ale. Thrain reaches for a small, iron-bound ledger that rests on a stone plinth nearby. He opens it, the parchment crinkling with a dry, crisp noise that seems loud in the profound quiet. He records the temperature and the state of the seals, his pen moving with the practiced ease of a man who has done this thousands of times. You watch the way the blue light catches the ink, which is made from the juice of the same violet mushrooms. It glows faintly on the page, a luminous record of the brewery's history that will last as long as the stone itself. Every entry is a testament to the dedication of the clan, a lineage of care that stretches back into the mists of legend. A bridge of fossilized bone spans a small chasm where the floor has split, revealing a glimpse of an even deeper level. Looking down, you see the faint, pulsing glow of magma flows far below, providing a constant, gentle warmth to the foundations. It is the heartbeat of the peak, a source of life and energy that the dwarves have harnessed for eons. The bridge is narrow but sturdy, its surface worn smooth by the passage of countless brewmasters. As you cross, you feel a slight vibration in the stone, a low-frequency hum that resonates in your chest. It is the mountain's own voice, a deep and wordless song that speaks of stability and permanence. On the other side of the bridge, the gallery opens into a circular chamber filled with shelves of glass bottles. Each bottle is unique, hand-blown by the master glass-smiths of the lower halls to hold the most precious vintages. They are arranged by year and by batch, a library of liquid memories that dates back to the founding of the stronghold. The liquid inside the bottles varies in color, from a deep ruby red to a pale shimmering gold. Some seem to contain swirling mists, while others are as clear and still as a mountain lake. You see labels written in a script that is older than the common tongue, the characters sharp and elegant against the dark glass. Thrain selects a bottle from a high shelf, wiping away a thin layer of dust with a soft silk cloth. He holds it up to the lantern, and the light transforms the liquid inside into a glowing ember. It is a vintage from a year of great prosperity, a brew that is said to bring visions of the sun to those who drink it in the deep. He places the bottle back with a nod of satisfaction, his task for this level complete. The journey deeper continues as he moves toward an archway made of translucent quartz that leads to the very heart of the cellars. This next section is where the absolute silence is kept, a place where even the breath of the mountain is hushed. You follow him, your mind drifting into a state of peaceful contemplation, lulled by the steady pace of your guide. The transition to the quartz hall is marked by a change in the light as the blue glow of the lantern is refracted through the walls. The entire corridor becomes a prism, bathing you in a soft rainbow-hued radiance that feels like a dream. The floor here is made of smooth slate, cool and dark, providing a neutral path through the kaleidoscope of color. You feel a sense of profound calm washing over you, a release of all tension as you enter this sanctuary of light and glass. The mountain holds you in its embrace, a protective shell that guards your rest. Every detail of the cavern is a marvel, from the way the mineral veins sparkle in the walls to the soft hiss of the air as it moves through the quartz. It is a place of infinite beauty and infinite quiet, a testament to what can be achieved when nature and craft work in harmony. You are privileged to be here, a guest in the most private sanctum of the clan. As you move forward, the rainbow light begins to fade, replaced by a soft amber glow that emanates from the floor. This is the warmth of the deep earth rising up to meet you as you descend toward the final destination of the night's tour. The transition is seamless, a gentle shift from the cool of the vault to the warmth of the core. Thrain's shadow stretches out before him, long and steady, a silhouette of strength and purpose. He is the guardian of this realm, the one who ensures that the cycle of creation and rest remains unbroken. In his presence you feel a deep sense of security, a knowing that you are exactly where you are meant to be. The path begins to level out, leading into a wide, domed chamber that serves as a crossroads for the deepest levels. Here the air is still and silent, a weighted peace that feels like a physical touch. It is the perfect place to pause, to let the experiences of the journey sink in before moving on. You look back at the way you came, the quartz hall glowing like a fallen star in the distance. The memory of the light and the silence stays with you, a mental anchor that keeps you grounded in the present moment. The mountain has shared its secrets with you, and in return it asks only for your respect and your quiet. Thrain gestures toward a small stone bench, inviting you to take a moment of rest before the final leg of the journey. You sit, feeling the cool, solid rock beneath you, a connection to the very bones of the world. The silence of the chamber wraps around you, a thick and comforting blanket that invites your eyes to close. In this stillness, you can hear the faint, distant pulse of the mountain's heart, a slow and steady beat that matches your own. It is a reminder that you are part of something much larger, a link in a chain of existence that stretches back to the beginning of time. The complexities of life fade away, leaving only the simple, beautiful reality of the deep. The amber light of the floor casts a warm glow on Thrain's face, highlighting the lines of age and wisdom that mark his features. He looks like a part of the mountain himself, a living statue carved by time and experience. As he waits for you to be ready, he closes his eyes, finding his own moment of peace in the heart of the peak. The journey is not over, but for now, this is enough to sit in the silence of the deep, surrounded by the fruits of 1,000 years of labor. The mountain is your host, and it offers you the greatest gift of all, the freedom to simply be. You breathe in the warm, earthy atmosphere, and for a moment, the world above ceases to exist. When you are ready, Thrain stands, his movement a silent signal that it is time to move toward the inner sanctum. The next path is narrow and carved with the oldest runes of the clan, leading to a place of even greater mystery. The narrow passage, carved with the storied runes of the mountain clan, leads you deeper into the living heart of the peak. Each step carries you away from the structured halls of stone and toward a place where the mountain breathes in a different way. The path underfoot is no longer polished quartz, but a softer, weathered trail of packed earth and fine mineral dust. A gentle shift in the temperature greets you, a soft warmth that carries the scent of damp moss and sweet, fermenting honey. It is a rich, organic perfume, one that speaks of growth and the quiet industry of the earth. You follow Thrain as he moves with a measured pace, his lantern swinging in a slow, rhythmic arc that casts long shadows against the walls. As you round a final bend, the tunnel opens into an immense cavern, a space so broad that the ceiling is lost in a soft, emerald haze. This is the Great Mycelium, the hidden garden where the brewmaster harvests the ingredients for his most famous tonics. The landscape is a sea of bioluminescence, with thousands of glowing caps dotting the landscape like fallen stars. The stillness of this place is profound, a weighted silence that seems to absorb the noise of your footsteps. Here the mountain does not feel like a fortress of cold stone, but like a warm, protective cradle. The light from the mushrooms is a soft, pulsing green, casting a dreamlike glow over everything it touches. Thrain pauses at the edge of a cluster of tall, slender stalks, their caps shimmering with a pale silver radiance. He reaches out a hand, his fingers brushing against the soft, velvet surface of a mushroom with a gesture of deep respect. "These are the moon-sigh fungi," he whispers, "known for their ability to bring a dreamless rest to those who drink their essence." You watch as a cloud of tiny, glowing spores drifts through the atmosphere, moving like a slow-motion snowfall in the green light. They catch the glow of the lantern, sparkling for a brief moment before they rest upon the mossy floor. The sight is mesmerizing, a dance of light and shadow that invites your mind to drift along with them. The path leads further into the grove, winding between massive fungal trunks that are as thick as the pillars in the great hall. The texture of the ground changes again, becoming springy and soft, a carpet of living moss that cushions every movement. It feels as though the cavern itself is welcoming you, offering a place of comfort and security. In the distance, the murmur of falling water reaches your ears, a low melodic chime that blends with the ambient hum of the cavern. It is the sound of a mineral spring, filtered through layers of limestone and quartz before it reaches the brewmaster's vats. The water is the lifeblood of this garden, carrying the nutrients that allow the mushrooms to thrive in the blackness. You pass a series of stone basins integrated into the very floor of the cavern and filled with a clear, shimmering liquid. These are the steeping pools where the harvested fungi are left to release their properties into the spring water. The surface of the pools is perfectly still, reflecting the glowing ceiling above like a series of liquid mirrors. Thrain points toward a row of copper pipes that run along the ceiling, their metal polished to a high sheen that catches the green light. These pipes carry the finished brew to the cooling vaults, a feat of dwarven engineering that blends magic and mechanics. The hum of the liquid moving through the pipes is a faint, comforting pulse, a sign of the life that flows through the mountain. A small wooden bridge crosses a narrow stream, the timber weathered and grey, with age, but still strong and sturdy. As you cross, you look down into the water, seeing the reflection of your own face amidst the glowing spores. The stream is shallow and clear, flowing over a bed of colourful pebbles that sparkle like hidden jewels. On the other side of the bridge, the brewmaster has established a small workstation, a simple stone table covered with jars and parchment. Here he records the growth of each cluster, noting the subtle changes in the light and the scent of the cavern. It is a work of patience and devotion, a testament to the bond between the dwarf and his environment. You see a collection of earthen jars, sealed with thick red wax and arranged neatly on a series of stone shelves. Each jar contains a different stage of the fermentation process, a secret recipe passed down through generations of brewmasters. The scent here is stronger, a heady mix of spice and earth that makes your senses feel warm and grounded. Thrain picks up a small stone ladle, dipping it into a nearby vat with a slow and careful movement. He brings it toward you, the liquid inside glowing with a soft golden hue that seems to radiate its own heat. It is the essence of the deep, he explains, a brew that captures the very soul of the mountain. You take a small sip, the liquid tasting of honey, stone, and the cool breath of the cavern. It is a flavor that is both familiar and strange, a comfort that reaches deep into your bones and eases the last of your tension. The warmth of the drink spreads through your chest, a gentle glow that matches the light of the mushrooms. The brewmaster smiles, a look of quiet pride on his weathered face, as he watches you enjoy the fruits of his labor. He knows the power of his craft, the way it can heal the spirit and bring peace to the mind. In this moment, the worries of the world above are forgotten, replaced by the simple reality of the deep. You move toward a small alcove where a thick mat of woven moss offers a place to sit and rest. The stone walls of the alcove are covered in soft, glowing lichen, providing a gentle light that is easy on the eyes. It is a perfect spot to pause, to let the magic of the cavern wash over you. As you sit, you feel the solid strength of the mountain behind you, a connection to the earth that is both grounding and liberating. The silence of the cavern is a living thing, a presence that wraps around you and invites you to let go of your thoughts. You are safe here, protected by the stone and the wisdom of the brewmaster. Thrain takes a seat nearby, his presence a steady anchor in the shimmering green light. He does not speak, allowing the atmosphere of the cavern to tell its own story. The pulse of the mountain is stronger here, a slow and steady beat that you can feel in your own heart. The glow of the mushroom seems to soften, the green light turning into a deep, restful emerald that invites sleep. You watch the spores as they continue their slow dance, their movement a lullaby for the soul. The journey has been long, but here, in the heart of the garden, you have found a place of true peace. The brewmaster stands, his movement a silent signal that it is time to move toward the final destination of the evening. The path ahead is bathed in a warm amber light, leading toward a doorway carved into the far wall of the cavern. It is the entrance to the inner sanctum, the place where the oldest and most powerful brews are kept in eternal stillness. You cross the threshold into the inner sanctum, where the amber light of 1,000 floating lanterns greets you. The atmosphere here is thick with the scent of cedar and aged honey, a perfume that carries the weight of many centuries. Each step you take upon the polished floor creates a soft, muffled echo that disappears into the stone. The walls are lined with massive casks of petrified timber held together by bands of blackened iron. These are the great sleepers, the vessels that hold the most storied brews of the mountain folk. Thrain moves ahead of you, his boots making a familiar, steady pattern against the floor. He does not rush, for time here has a different measure, a slower pace that respects the long years of maturation. You feel the warmth of the lanterns on your skin, a gentle radiance that seems to emanate from the very glass. The light is soft and golden, casting long, flickering shadows that dance across the grain of the wood. It is a place of absolute stillness, where the only movement is the slow drift of dust motes in the amber haze. You pass a row of smaller vats, carved from solid granite and sealed with wax. These are the whispering vats, so named for the low, vibrating hum they produce as the liquid inside interacts with the stone. If you listen closely, you can hear it, a deep, resonant note that vibrates in your chest like a distant thunder. It is the music of the deep, a song of transformation and patience. The brewmaster pauses to place a hand on one of the vats, his eyes closing as he listens to the progress of his work. Further into the chamber, a small bridge of wrought iron spans a narrow stream of liquid gold. This is not water, but a fermented mead that flows from a hidden spring deep within the rock. The surface of the stream is smooth as glass, reflecting the celestial glow of the crystals embedded in the ceiling. You watch as a single drop falls from a stalactite, creating a ripple that spreads slowly toward the edges. The murmur of the flow is a gentle lullaby, a constant, soothing presence in the quiet of the sanctum. To your left, the Hall of Vintages opens up, displaying shelves upon shelves of delicate glass bottles. Each one is unique, hand-blown by the glass smiths of the lower levels and filled with spirits of every imaginable hue. Some are a deep, rich crimson, while others glow with a pale, ethereal silver. Cobwebs, as fine as lace, drape over the necks of the oldest bottles, undisturbed for decades. This is the history of the clan, preserved in liquid form, a legacy of craft and dedication that spans generations. The ceiling above is a wonder of its own, a sprawling map of the stars rendered in glowing quartz. It is said that the dwarves of old mapped the heavens from the peaks and brought the constellations down into the earth. The light from these stones is cool and steady, providing a balance to the warm amber of the lanterns below. You find yourself looking up, lost in the beauty of this subterranean sky, feeling a sense of wonder that is both humbling and peaceful. The scale of the room is immense, yet it feels like a protective cocoon, shielding you from the world. You come upon a stone table carved from a single block of white marble that shines with an inner light. On its surface sits a vessel of silver and rowan wood, waiting for the next ceremonial tasting. The craftsmanship is exquisite, with intricate engravings of mountain peaks and flowing rivers winding around the base. Thrain gestures toward it, a silent invitation to appreciate the beauty of the object. There is no need for words, for the quality of the work speaks for itself, a testament to the pride of the maker. The shadows in the corners are soft and inviting, a deep murk that hides nothing but offers rest. You feel the fatigue of the day beginning to turn into a comfortable weight in your limbs. The journey through the cavern has been a long one, but the peace of the sanctum is a reward that is well worth the effort. Every breath you take is slow and deep, filling your lungs with the clean, cool air of the inner mountain. You are far below the surface, yet you have never felt more at home. As you walk, you notice the carvings on the stone pillars that support the ceiling. They tell the stories of the first brewmasters who discovered the mushrooms and the secret springs of the deep. You see the images of hammers striking stone, and the first casks being filled with the essence of the mountain. The history is etched into the very bones of the place, a reminder of the continuity of life. It is a storied landscape where every corner holds a secret, and every shadow tells a tale. Thrain leads you toward a massive door of solid oak, reinforced with plates of polished brass. This is the entrance to the resting chamber, the place where the journey for this evening will finally come to an end. He checks the seal with a careful eye, ensuring that the atmosphere inside remains perfectly still. The brass plates catch the light of his lantern, reflecting a warm golden glow onto his face. He looks at you with a nod of satisfaction, knowing that the preparations are complete. Inside the resting chamber, the temperature is slightly cooler, a refreshing change that invites you to wrap yourself in the thick furs provided. The beds are carved into the stone walls, lined with soft moss and blankets of woven wool. A small hearth in the center of the room burns with a blue flame, a magical fire that provides light without the intensity of heat. It is a calm, tranquil space, designed for the deepest, most restorative sleep. You feel the invitation of the bed, a pull toward rest that is impossible to resist. In the corner of the room sits the brewmaster's personal study, a small alcove filled with parchment and ink. Here he records the recipes and the observations of his daily work, preserving the knowledge for those who will follow. A single candle burns on the desk, its flames steady in the still atmosphere. The scent of old paper and dried herbs lingers in the corner, a comforting, scholarly aroma. It is a place of reflection where the wisdom of the past meets the promise of the future. You look back through the open door toward the fungal garden you left behind. The green glow of the mushrooms is a distant, shimmering memory, a contrast to the amber and blue of the Sanctum. The transition from the living garden to the silent stone has been a natural one, a slow descent into the heart of the mountain. You feel a sense of gratitude for the experience, for the chance to see the hidden wonders of this realm. The world above, with its noise and its hurry, feels like a dream fading away. A small cauldron sits over the blue fire, filled with a blend of mountain herbs and clear spring water. The steam rises in curling wisps, carrying the scent of peppermint and chamomile into the room. It is a tea designed to quiet the mind and prepare the body for the night ahead. Thrain pours a cup, for you the liquid clear and steaming in the dim light. You take a sip, the warmth spreading through your chest, easing the last of your lingering thoughts. The silence of the mountain is a living presence here, a weighted stillness that wraps around you like a heavy cloak. It is not an empty silence, but one filled with the pulse of the earth and the slow breath of the stone. You can feel the mountain all around you, a massive protective shell that keeps the rest of the landscape at bay. In this place you are safe, you are warm, and you are free to let go. The worries of the evening have been replaced by the simple peace of the deep. You move toward the bed, the moss yielding under your weight with a soft, cushioned feel. The blankets are thick and heavy, providing a sense of security that is deeply comforting. As you lie down, you look up at the blue flames of the hearth, watching them dance in a slow, hypnotic measure. The light is soft and easy on the eyes, a perfect companion for the transition into sleep. Your eyes begin to feel weighted and slow as the magic of the chamber takes hold. Thrain takes a seat on a low bench near a pool of still water, his presence a steady, silent anchor. He will remain here for a time, watching over the sanctum and ensuring that your rest is undisturbed. The pool of water is unmoving, its surface a perfect mirror for the blue light of the fire. There is a sense of completion in the air, a feeling that everything is exactly as it should be. The journey has reached its natural conclusion in the heart of the mountain. The glow of the lanterns in the outer hall begins to dim as the night moves into its deepest hour. The amber light softens into a faint golden haze that barely reaches the entrance of your chamber. You are surrounded by the softest shadows, a gentle murk that invites the mind to drift. Every sound, from the distant murmur of the mead stream to the soft crackle of the blue fire, is a lullaby. You are drifting on a sea of tranquility, guided by the steady hand of the Brewmaster. As you close your eyes, you feel the connection to the earth, the solid strength of the rock beneath you. The mountain is a part of you, and you are a part of the mountain, a shared existence that is older than time. The stories of the clan, the magic of the brews, and the beauty of the garden all fade into a single peaceful thought. You are resting in the inner sanctum, where the oldest secrets are kept in eternal stillness. The path to the final dream is open and clear, leading you toward the very heart of the mountain's embrace. The moss beneath you is a tapestry of emerald and silver, woven by the slow hands of time. It cradles your form with a gentle, persistent pressure that makes the very idea of movement feel like a distant memory. You are sinking not into a void, but into the protective embrace of the deep earth. Every muscle, every fiber of your being finds its place within the soft, damp cushion. The blue flames in the hearth have slowed their dance, turning into a low, steady hum of sapphire light. They do not flicker as common wood fires do, but glow with a consistent, magical intensity that warms the stone without scorching it. The heat is a physical presence, a soft blanket that rests upon your skin, banishing the chill of the deeper tunnels. You watch the embers as they pulse with a secret internal life, like the dying coals of a fallen star. Thrain sits as still as the statues in the upper halls, his hands resting upon his knees. He is a part of this silence, a living monument to the patience of his people. The soft glow of the pool catches the silver in his braided beard, making it shimmer like a mountain stream under a full moon. There is a profound comfort in his proximity, a sense that no harm could ever find its way into this hidden sanctuary. The cavern ceiling, high above, is a map of the heavens, written in veins of glowing quartz. Each streak of light is a story, a lineage, or a vein of ore that has never felt the bite of a pickaxe. You follow the lines with your eyes, letting the patterns lead your mind through the quiet history of the stone. The mountain is dreaming, and you are invited to share in its long, slow thoughts. A faint scent of roasted barley and honey persists in the atmosphere, a reminder of the brew you shared. It is a grounding aroma, sweet and earthy, that fills the lungs with a sense of plenty. The brewmaster has spent 100 years perfecting this fragrance, and now it serves as the final note in your journey. It is the scent of home, even in a place so far beneath the sky. The water in the pool makes a tiny melodic chime as a single drop falls from a stalactite. The ripple travels across the face of it, a perfect circle that expands until it touches the mossy edge. You watch the motion, captivated by its simplicity and its grace. Each drop is a heartbeat, a measure of the mountain's life, occurring in the slow, deliberate pace of the deep. Your breath has found a natural match for the pulse of the cavern, slow and effortless. There is no need to rush, no need to think of the world above or the sun that has long since set. Here the time is measured by the growth of crystals and the slow deepening of the shadows. You are part of a cycle that has continued for thousands of years and will continue for thousands more. The blankets, made of woven mountain goat wool, are thick and soft against your chin. They carry the faint, clean smell of high-altitude meadows and the sharp, cold wind of the peaks. It is a strange and beautiful contrast, to be wrapped in the essence of the heights while resting in the very roots of the world. The duality of the mountain is held within these simple threads. Thrain reaches out and adjusts a small lantern, turning the wick, until the golden light is nothing more than a tiny glowing ember. The room shifts into a deeper shade of violet and blue, the colors of the evening at the edge of the sea. The change is subtle, a soft transition that prepares the eyes for the coming of sleep. The murk is kind, a velvet curtain that closes on the day's events. You feel the weight of your limbs as they become as solid and still as the granite walls. It is a pleasant sensation, a feeling of being completely anchored to the foundation of the landscape. The restlessness of the mind has been replaced by the stony resolve of the earth. You are no longer a traveler, but a permanent part of this quiet, subterranean realm. In the distance, the low murmur of the mead stream continues its endless song, a liquid lullaby for the weary. It is a noise that does not demand attention, but provides a steady background melody for your thoughts. It speaks of hidden paths and secret springs, of the lifeblood of the mountain flowing through its veins. The water is the soul of this place, and its voice is the voice of peace. A small, glowing beetle crawls across a mushroom cap, its shell shimmering with an inner radiance. It moves with a slow, deliberate purpose, a tiny spark of life in the vastness of the hall. You watch its journey for a moment, before your eyelids become too weighted to stay open. The small things, the tiny details, are what make this place feel so alive and so safe. The silence is not a lack of noise, but a presence that fills the ears with a soft white hum. It is the sound of the mountain, breathing a slow, deep inhalation that lasts for hours. You can feel the vibration in the rock, a subtle tremor that is more a feeling than a noise. It is the most comforting sensation you have ever known, the heartbeat of a giant at rest. Your thoughts are like leaves drifting on the surface of a still pond, moving slowly toward the edge. Won by settled thought, they drift away, leaving the mind clear and calm like the pool beside you. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to see but the soft glow of the blue fire. You are ready to let the mountain take the lead. Thrain stands up, his movements so quiet they barely disturb the stillness of the room. He looks at you with a nod of approval, a silent guardian who has seen many such evenings. He knows the value of rest and the power of the deep to heal the spirit. His presence is a final reassuring touch before you drift into the long, slow sleep. He walks toward the entrance, his boots making a soft, rhythmic thud on the mossy floor. The sound fades as he reaches the outer hall, leaving you alone in the sanctum of the stone. The blue fire gives one last, gentle pulse before it settles into a steady, low glow. The room is a cocoon of warmth and light, a perfect sanctuary for the night. You close your eyes, and the blue light persists behind your lids, a soft, ethereal glow that guides you inward. The mountain is all around you, a massive protective shell that shuts out the noise of the universe. You are in the heart of the world, where the oldest dreams are kept and the deepest rest is found. The journey is over, and the dream has just begun. The shadows move closer, wrapping you in a soft, dark embrace that feels like a homecoming. There is no fear in this gloom, only the peace of the earth and the stillness of the stone. You are sinking deeper into the moss, into the rock, into the very essence of the mountain. Every breath is a step further into the quiet, further into the peace. The last thing you feel is the cool, clean air of the cavern brushing against your cheek like a soft, invisible hand. It is a goodbye to the waking world and a welcome to the realm of sleep. The mountain has accepted you, and you are now a part of its eternal, silent story. Rest now, for the stone is watching, and the earth is your bed. As the final embers of the blue fire fade into the violet dimness, the silence becomes total and absolute. You are drifting on the currents of the deep, a passenger on a voyage that has no destination but peace. The mountain dreams of the stars, and you dream with it, a shared consciousness that transcends the passage of time. Sleep is the bridge to the heart of the world. Thank you for resting here a while. Until next time on the Drowsy Dragon, sleep well.